one beyond my wildest dreams. Maybe that road could have carried me to streets of gold, but things aren't always as they seem. Looking back on all the chances that I missed, some I held, some slipped away. One street over where my memories exist, I wondered what would change, I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today. Times gone by, I've traded like dirt into clay. I thought my memories would end. One street over's now 1,000 miles away. When I close my eyes, I'm back to where I've been. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today.
Oh, good morning. How you doing? This is 1100 WSGI. I'm Neutral LaVern. And this is one street over. What's happening one street over from where you're living? Well, according to school transportation, there's still some ice out there, guys. And I'm seriously, we had Mr. Heineman in here yesterday, and he kind of gave the particulars on, okay, what do we look for? What do we look for when we're, going to call off schools and all of those things? What is, what's the process? And it was really interesting. He and Jerry Shannon were in here yesterday and talked a little bit about that. So go back and listen to that. And he said then that, they're going to go out and evaluate it yesterday afternoon. And I had a feeling that there was enough ice out there. You figure when I was walking to my car today, it was treacherous in my parking, like in my driveway. So there's a lot of ice still out there, guys. I know some of you are going, why aren't we going to school? The rain should take care of it today, and we should be back tomorrow without any problem. Can't wait to see my kiddos and hear all about their Snowmageddon experiences. But it was a good show yesterday, and hope you'll go and listen to Jamie Nixon's part 2. Man, that guy has transformed his life, physically fit. It was a fun show yesterday, and today my friend Mayor Billy Vogle is in the house. How are you doing, brother?
Well,
I'm so glad to see you. I feel like it's been forever.
Well, it seemed like since Christmas we've been in some kind of dilemma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you figure, you and I spoke. The last meeting y'all had was right before Christmas, and I said, well, I'll see you on the other side of it, and here we are. But then y'all had the delay because of Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, and,
Well,
it's been a minute. It's been a minute.
Talking about the roads that's been a big subject.
Oh, yeah.
I've had a lot of emails, and you can't answer them all, and some of them, some people are nice, but then some are kind of, hey, you haven't cleaned the road. The county has never been in the salt business.
No.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
And when you start plowing roads, like if you've noticed, they'll plow it up there inside the roads, and then all of a sudden the post office is calling the government and say, hey, our people cannot get to the mailbox because of that big snow bluff.
Yeah.
So, and then you'll miss a road and you'll make somebody mad. But they did get out and do some work. We had some requests like daycares and stuff out in the county.
Yeah.
But as far as we got over, 450 miles.
Yeah. That's a lot of road to cover.
If you got to it one day, the next day it was bad again.
Mm-hmm.
it was just a time for people just to stay off the road.
Well, and what was so funny, my husband and I, because, living next to a public utility, the wastewater plant, our road gets more attention than others.
Yes, it does.
And that's nice. We have enjoyed that. And they've been such a good neighbor to us. And so we love those guys. But so nonetheless, we didn't. Well, and plus two, we've got a Expedition that's 4-wheel drive. We can get out in it. We've never stopped. I came in here and did radio every day last week. That's the way we roll, and he's a Yankee. I mean, he knows how to drive in this stuff, but it was so funny. So we were in and out of Walmart and the different stores around town, and they were just deserted until last night. And I had forgotten something and had to run back to Walmart yesterday. And it was just because we had been in there yesterday morning, right after radio, to pick up something. And then I went back last night. I mean, and there was really nobody out yet. And because nothing had started melting, it's still very slick. And so I went in last night, and it was like everybody coming out of their hole. Everybody looked disheveled and kind of glassy-eyed. I mean, it was hysterical. I've never watched that show, The Walking Dead, but I think that's probably what it kind of looked like last night.
At church. We had 18 people at church. That was it. On Sunday. That was it.
Well, they called off our services because the parking lot was so treacherous.
But the parking lot was in good shape, but just because of the weather, 8 degrees Sunday morning.
Oh, yeah.
And salt is not going to work.
No.
You need some sunshine. And
got to have a little bit.
People just, I know they're frustrated after a couple of days, but we've got to have patience.
Yeah.
And I'd have found out a long time ago, you can't fight Mother Nature.
No.
She's going to do her thing, and you got to wait till she gets done, and then you can get back to what you're going to do.
I know it. And I'll tell you, it's been I needed the break. I'll be honest with you, because I came back from Christmas break with my mother passed over Christmas. I don't know if you heard that or not. Yeah, and she passed away the day after Christmas, and so we came back after Christmas break, and I was just like it was a lot.
Christmas is a rush anyway. Yeah. And where are you from? What state?
I'm from Mayfield.
Mayfield,
Kentucky. Yeah.
Okay.
And so, we've talked about all the tornado stuff and everything. Yeah. That's my hometown. And, but I'm from the county. I mean, I grew up on a farm. I grew up on Oak Ridge Farm, about 15 minutes out of Mayfield. But, I came back from Christmas break just really overwhelmed. And so I got to tell you, this was a gift for me, because it gave me a chance to kind of catch my breath. And so I was really thankful for the time just to kind of catch my breath after everything. And I'm ready to go, man. Come on, kids. We got things to do.
I know everybody got frustrated, but then last week, Springfield had a busted water main.
Right.
And in these cold temperatures, can you imagine getting in that ditch with that water main, water going everywhere? You can always see somebody doing something that's a lot worse than what we're having to go through.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
And let me just say, the homeless came up numerous times as being mayor of Robinson County. And they had some houses that they was going to work with, but state fire marshal wouldn't let them use them if they didn't have a sprinkler system. Mm-hmm. And it's always something that, that you're going to come into.
Well, what happened with my father's house? I need to get in touch with Charlene and get an update on that.
Well, Commissioner Morgan, he said that he's very involved in that. Mm-hmm. So they was able to do some things, but we got to depend on churches a whole lot.
Yeah.
I used to have a sign in my office that used to say, it was a newspaper clipping, politicians don't care about the homeless because the homeless don't vote. If you think about it, there's probably a lot of truth to that. We as individuals and churches and stuff is the one that needs to pick up the slack.
Well, see, and we do a lot of that at Madison. We have a particular family we've been working with through this, and have been able to keep them sheltered, a sweet family. And so we have a lot of things going up in the Madison area. And so I've because I worked in benevolence before I came into working in teaching, I've had to work in that community a lot. And so it's just not what you think. It's just not what you think. I'm so proud of the work they do here with my father's house. And we'll get Charlene in and get an update, because that's been the big concern, is because of the rezoning and being able to let people stay. Yeah. And I assumed everything was because they had a week where they were going to let them go ahead and stay. It was like a special ordinance. So that did happen, didn't it?
I think so, to a certain extent.
I didn't hear from anybody that it didn't,
Yeah.
So.
But it's like our church has got a blessing box, and
Yeah.
that thing froze, and everything in it busted.
Oh,
So if you've got those boxes out, we need to restack them and stock them. Yeah.
And a blessing box is basically just a little a little box that you have, outside a location, and you just put things like Vienna sausages in there, peanut butter crackers, bottles of water, things that are just essentials if somebody's just hungry and they can't, and you're not there. We have our benevolent center at Madison is open in the mornings, Monday through Friday. And, and if you come up on Sunday and there's things going on and you can get some help from our benevolence team and minister, we have just an amazing team there, but you can't be open all the time. And during the cold weather, during the ice, everything's closed. It was just bizarre. That was one thing. We're trying to work with a homeless family, and the things we're working with Bethlehem Center. And thank you, Tiffany Thompson with United Way, for making those connections for us. But couldn't get a lot done last week because of the ice. And so can you imagine being homeless in this mess? I can't even fathom it. I can't even fathom it. But anyway, Mayor Billy Vogle is in the house. They did have their county commissioner meeting last night. And how busy was it? Was it a long meeting? Or?
It wasn't. It was just about an hour.
Okay.
And if it hadn't been for a few zoning issues, we'd probably got out of it quicker than that. Because of the weather and let's face it, things would get to be slow at first of the year.
Yeah.
It's February is always slow, especially if you're in real estate or something like that.
Right.
People are just not purchasing anything. They're paying their taxes and, they're working on the income tax and it's just a slow time of year.
Yeah.
But last night, one of the first things we discussed and from my communications, we got our letter from the state audit people. And, of course, 4 years out of 5, we've been zero findings.
Well, see, in that 1 year that you had a finding, it was next to nothing.
It was
minuscule.
nothing to do with money.
Technicality, really.
Yeah, it was nothing to do with money. It's where we turned ourselves in on our handbook to employees, maybe redoing some wording. It wasn't. They look for something. That's their job. They're going to find something if you. But we've been blessed. Our finance officer does a great job. Department heads, they account for everything, and when we do our reports, all the money is showed where it's going. It's just the way it works. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, very good. And that's if you're wondering about what happens with our county government, there you go. And very well done and very well run and complete open book. So we appreciate that. So congratulations on that.
Yeah. In my communications, Father's house was brought up again.
Right.
And we was talking about it and about the homeless, and then Commissioner Hebert, Head Hebert, let me get that right. She's having a 5K February 3rd in memory of her son, who was killed in a car accident in Clarksville. It starts at 9 o'clock at Travis Park, and the proceeds will go toward they've got 4 or 5 different things that are going to help with the money, agriculture and stuff like that, because her son was big in that. And I hope they have a good turnout. I wished I could get in it.
Oh, I can't run. I could walk. That's the thing. A lot of people think, well, I can't participate in these events because I don't run. Well, you can walk them. I have a friend of mine. She walks them all the time and has all these medals and all those things. And so you can do that, guys. So you can get involved.
February the 3rd, 9 o'clock.
There you go.
I'm sure it's a Saturday, and that'd be great.
The weather will do. Hopefully it'll be sunny. We just never know. All the people that have moved into this area and they're like, okay, it was Snowmageddon last week and now we're going to be in the 50s and 40s all week. Yay. I'm so excited. But I have said it several times in the last week. It ain't over, y'all. We got another snow event coming. I just feel it in my bones. And the water table in the county is still down big time. Really?
Yes, and it takes snow to get your water table back up because it goes into the ground. When it melts rather than run off. Yeah. That's the point. Yeah. If it hadn't been for the snow, I think these farmers' wheat would have been damaged by the freeze.
Really?
I really do. I
think that we had the master gardener in here, and he was talking about, I lost some things. I lost a lot of ivy and things like that. And before this came in, I asked him, I said, what can I do to protect some of my things that I would like to not lose. Well, he had said that if you spray them down with water right before the freeze, that insulates them. And I thought, oh, that's so cool. And I had no idea. I had no idea that was the case.
Well, I think people spray plants and flowers before daylight, so because the sun's what burns it when the ice is on it.
Yeah. Sure.
So
but that's interesting. There's a lot of things we can do, but I'm ready for spring though after this. But it's like the kiddos. Whenever right before the snow, we went to school on a day when there was high wind, and they were like, "We should have been out of school today." And I said, "We cannot."
That was a Friday, wasn't it?
Yes, it was a Friday, and I told him, I said, "We cannot just take random days for the heck of it," because I said it's January. You see what's coming next week, and I said you don't want to go to school till June, so you better hope we don't have to use all of our snow days. But so. I just kind of think we're going to end up using every one of them this year.
Yeah.
I got a feeling, but
Yeah, I heard the wind had some people upset because folks, one of the hardest things about my job is determining whether or not to open the office buildings. I know that there's people that scatter work, the essential workers, and I got up at 3:00 one morning talking to Springfield Police and everything. The morning we had the ice.
Yeah.
And Thursday or Friday, yeah. I got up at 3:00, started talking to people because I do not want to shut county down. For one reason, I got people that's got to work regardless. So I don't want to abuse them, but it's a hard decision, decision.
Yeah.
But I do not want to risk an employee maybe getting injured or losing a life trying to get to work.
Well, my husband and I both, we're pretty sure-footed, and we don't goof around. We both have had a fall during the ice.
I feel Friday.
Yeah, and we're careful. And we both had a fall that, he fell yesterday, and he's like, oh, I feel like I've been hit by a truck. Not really, but the day I fell, and my feet flew out from under me. I'm like, how in the world did I take such a stupid step? It is at this age. It's hard on you when you hit the ground. And so, people fall and hit their head and it kills them.
Yeah.
You got to be careful on
I was walking to the shop to get on the tractor to break ice, and my feet went out from under me and landed on my shoulder, and I'm getting too old for that.
Yeah, me too. I landed on my shoulder and my hip, and I'm like, damn it. And I couldn't hardly move the next day, but, we pushed on. Mark's fine this morning. He was hurting last night, but he's okay this morning. Yeah. But anyway, be careful out there. It's still slick. My driveway is still slick as glass in a couple of spots, and hopefully today it'll all get washed away. So, all right, what else you got, man?
Well, we went to election appointments in January, and in August is when we do our committee appointments. And last night we had several major committees, budget committee and a lot of finance committees, audit committees, and then the workforce with the sheriff and everything. And we made those appointments last night, which pretty well everybody went back to the same committee. And it's changing stuff in the middle. We're fixing to start on another budget. Okay. I mean, it's hard to believe here it is January. You're talking budget. Yeah, we're getting ready to start getting the groundwork for the budget. Okay. And it's going to be, I'll just tell folks right now, it's going to be a tough budget. We passed one last year that really had more expense than revenue. And we're going to have to, I'll tell you, it's going to be some cutting. I think this could be the toughest budget since 2008. And that's okay. Things run in cycles. County, only thing they really can depend on is property tax. We don't have enough, sin tax out there that we don't get, and most of your sales tax goes toward the schools. So that's really the only thing we can put our hands on. Unless we start really, a lot of counties is going to state legislators to try to get more impact fees. The cities can do a lot of impact fees that the county can't. And if we're going to start having a lot of building out in the county, we've got to, we'll put the burden on the ones that's moving in.
Right.
That's what it's all about. If you're going to come to Roberts County and you want to play, you're going to have to pay. And if the state will make some changes, that's a tool we could be using.
Well, we raised them to some degree, correct? About 2 years and a half.
Yeah, we raised,
fees when you're building
but
stuff.
probably they're looking, I think some cities has got some stuff they can do with commercial property and stuff like that. And and
a lot of the times these commercial properties come in and they get a lot of benefits on the front end to get
Yes,
them
they
in
do.
here.
Yeah.
And, so it's like, okay.
Yeah.
How do you balance all? God bless you. I would hate to have to do all that. I mean,
Well, the main
I
thing.
dipped my toe in the political waters, and it was not for me.
Well, the main thing's treat everybody the same.
Yeah.
I mean, don't be trying to treat somebody better than somebody else.
Right.
We got laws and rules and treat everybody the same.
Right.
And that's just the way it is. I don't see that it's, even though we have those rules and laws, it's not slowing things down.
No.
I mean, Williamson County and Rutherford County is a lot harder to build a house than we are, more expensive. And that mayor down there tells me every time he raises something, it just keeps going up. You know, then people are coming in. You know, they don't mind paying it to live in Middle Tennessee.
Yeah.
We're very popular.
Yes, we are, and we're going to keep getting more and more popular. But we're talking with Mayor Billy Vogle. He is our county mayor, for those of you who might not know him. And he comes in on the day after our county commissioner meeting. Now, it was delayed a week because it typically is on the third Monday, and but it was delayed because of the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. It will be delayed next month as well, right, for President's Day?
President's Day, sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So President's Day will delay it again next month. So during January and February, it's always on the fourth Monday. So you'll see that adjustment in the schedule for him being in here. And then if you have something you want to, push out and talk to them about, now you need to reach out to them. Let me pause for a second. We're going to talk about one of our sponsors. We're going to talk about Mr. Perry's Music. Man, every kid, I guess at some point, if you've got any kind of a musical inclination, you dream about being in a band. And I have my entire life dabbled in music, wanted to play music, and I would get to where I could, play a little bit. Then I had no one to play with, and I had nowhere to kind of go and just, and just hang out. I didn't have any peers in that. And so I'd set it aside because I'm like, I'm just playing for myself. So I didn't love it enough to keep going. And getting together and having somebody to collaborate with and being a band is a game changer for a lot of kids when it comes to really honing their musical ability. And I wish so much that I had I've played piano, guitar, I play a little mandolin, but I don't play them well enough to play in front of people. But if I'd had somebody like Mr. Perry's Music when I was a kiddo, man, it would have been so much fun. It would have been great relationships. Maybe you got a kid that's just, all they're doing is gaming. You're trying, what can I find for them to do? Get them in a band. You just have no idea what it will do to open them up and to get them that socialization. I know they're trying, a lot of kids that do homeschool, they don't have as much interaction with kiddos. Well, they're putting together a homeschool band at Mr. Perry's Music. Now, this works on the school semester, so they've gotten going already with the spring semester, but give him a call or reach out to him. You email him at www.mrperryspringfield.com, www.mrperryspringfield.com, and find out what kind of availability they have for the band classes that meet, I think, mostly on Monday evenings. Now, they may, depending on how many they have participate, they have to open it up. And this summer, they'll have camp, which is awesome. I'm really wanting to get one of my oldest grandson involved in that. He's got a cousin that plays, and it's amazing. And so he's interested to some degree in music. And I know my little granddaughter is going to be, because she's already got a voice on her and she's 3. So, all this stuff, I want to get my grandkids involved. And since they're out of county, I can bring them in for summer stuff. But right now is springtime semester. And if you private lessons, I do private lessons with Perry from time to time when I have time. They've got equipment to sell, all kinds of fun stuff happening right there on 41. You can't miss them. It's the Rock House, and it's fun. I love when I go by there on Mondays because I know those kids are in there rocking and they're having fun. If you want to know more, reach out to www.mrperryspringfield.com, www.mrperryspringfield.com. Always let our sponsors know that you turn things out so they know Mayor Billy Vogle in the house. Do you play music?
When I was a kid, my mother made me play trombone in elementary school, and then she made me take lessons. I got pretty good on it, and then once I got in junior high and high school, I brother played football, so
yeah,
I still got my trombone.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
My husband's, his granddaddy, we talk a lot about his family came out of Bohemia, and his grandfather was 2 when they immigrated. And the family were all musicians, and they had a band called the Vivio Merrymakers. It was a polka band, kind of. And his grandfather could play anything. Can my husband play any music? No. He can't play.
Yeah.
He did when he was younger. He played something. He played some kind of I don't know, a horn or something. I can't remember what he played, but he did too. But yeah, he can't play nothing now.
Don't never give up because
Yeah.
somebody stole the trombone out of the band room, several instruments, when I was in junior high. 20 years later, Metro Police Department called my mother. They recovered it.
That's cool.
And got it back.
That's cool.
It ain't as pretty as it was, but yeah, we got it back.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Interesting. Oh,
We was shocked.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool that you got that. So, well, very cool. Awesome.
You know, instruments are very high.
Oh, they're.
I couldn't believe what a saxophone and stuff like that cost. And,
Oh,
and these kids in these bands, I'm thinking, wow, who is,
Well, they lease them.
Yeah.
They have a lease deal, and there's all kinds of ways to get those in. And that's one. You want to do something? Talk to one of your bands of your school and say, hey, what can I do to help your band? We went to the Coming Home event where we crowned our king. You know, they have Coming Home for basketball, Homecoming for football. And so we were at that on when Greenbrier had that right before the snow, and got to sit there and watch the band play in between. I mean, they're good. They're so talented. Oh my gosh. And they have that camaraderie.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a place for your kids to plug in, music may be the thing, guys. Look into it.
Yeah, the East Robinson Band plays on Veterans Day up there.
Do they?
And they do a great job playing the different, I don't want to say fight songs, like the Marine song.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they play every one of them
Yeah.
and do a great job.
Are they the ones that come out for Vietnam Veterans Day, too? Are they the same ones?
I don't know.
Play for that? I can't remember which.
Yeah.
I'll find out from Terry.
Okay.
We're already putting things together for Vietnam Veterans Day.
You're going to find out from
Tell us
Terry.
on that. Well, yeah.
Terry's gone.
You know, he's involved with the Vietnam Veterans
Okay.
Day. He sent me a schedule the other day.
Yeah.
Says, can you host? I'm like, absolutely. Yeah. So, but anyway, so what you got, Mayor?
Well, we got into our reports, and when I hit the EMS report, I had several calls, people concerned about ambulances during the storm. But they're 4-wheel drive. We have two, I think, still 2-wheel drive. But Brent put new tires on most everything before the snow because of the tornado we had in Springfield. They was driving over so many nails and screws and everything. So we put some new tires on them, and I don't think they had really any trouble. One ambulance might have slid against a fire hydrant trying to get to a call, but other than that, it's business as usual. They've done a great job. He also commented that we gave the fire departments another $700,000. There's 10 of them. And the cities that we're working with and combined on that project are hiring full-time people. We've always been volunteer, but they're hiring full-time people now.
Oh, wow.
With this extra money, I've heard they're getting more volunteers. They're buying more equipment, and it's working great. Working great, really is.
Well, we've got, and that's one thing that during all this nasty weather, those guys that were going out and taking care of everybody that was sliding off the road and getting into trouble and all those things, you just gotta love them because they are just amazing people. And the people who do that kind of work, God bless y'all. Yeah. We love y'all and we appreciate you, and we pray for you. So
yeah, I went out animal control. If you haven't been out there, please go out there and go inside that and see what the facility looks like.
Yeah.
I was getting some calls because animals out in the coast. I went out there and there was one person working that day because we had one out with COVID and two out with flu.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But since we've got the new facility, the animals are inside. Now they got a little old door. They can go outside in their pen, but it's really nice. And, I hope people will volunteer. They could use volunteers. There's cats and out there and dogs, and we're not putting anything down, really. They look for rescue and everything. They do a great job.
We went out there. I specifically went out there right before the snow just so I could see the facility. Absolutely beautiful. And we're going to have somebody come in from out there and talk to us about it. But that was the thing. Beautiful dogs. Beautiful dogs.
There's not a mean one in there.
Oh, and there were several cats that I really am in the market for another cat, but it's got to be one that I think will get along with the cat I already got. And so it's gonna. I'll know it when I know it, but I haven't found that kitty cat yet. But I will pop in there from time to time just to look at the cats because I do want another cat. I'm one of these people. If you're in the country and you don't have a cat, you're going to get overrun with mice and snakes and things like that in your house. You need to have a cat, at least one or two, because otherwise, those things will make their home in your home.
Yeah.
So.
But once we got through the reports, I ask them, anybody's got a question or comment, and if they go to the meetings like they're supposed to, everybody knows pretty well what's going on in the country.
Right.
Yeah. EMS, we're looking at doing some work on the ambulance stations at Cedar Hill and Coopertown, and these ambulances are getting bigger. Some of the buildings we got that we hold them in, there's not enough room to shut the garage door down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're getting bigger. The boxes you put on them,
yeah,
they're bigger than what we used to see because they're putting more stuff in it.
Well, that's just it. There's more.
Yeah,
there's
defibrillators and things like that, yeah.
To save people's lives. And that's a good thing, though. But if you're just joining us, guys, Mayor, your wife has been watching. But Mayor Billy Vogle, she's keeping an eye on you, Mayor.
Yeah, she told me to watch my vocabulary.
You're so fun. You're so fun. But Mayor Billy Vogle is in the house reporting on the commissioners meeting last night, and everybody's just still kind of getting their gears going. No school today, if you hadn't heard. I really thought we'd have a 2-hour delay today. I thought that might work, but they're just still. I talked with a few friends. Well, Lee Marie lives on Hoods Branch, and I checked with her yesterday. She goes, there's still several very long patches of ice, and that's a.
I heard Galls Road and places like that.
Just some
where the shade is.
Yes, and like. My driveway is still ice covered in spots that's got shade, and it is just slick as glass as it's melted a little bit. It's like walking on glass. And I mean, you will hurt yourself in these cars. You do not want these kids, these young drivers. Oh my goodness, we don't need them out on these roads.
We don't want to, just because we're closed maybe sometimes, really we don't want to be, because all we're doing is backing up the court system. Yeah. And you're working with so many different people, the bondsmen and probation officers, and you just keep backing it up. Mm-hmm. We don't need to be doing that. And it's tough. But then when these deputies go carry people to court and back and forth, it's dangerous for them too. It's just your liability is pretty tough. Yeah.
Well, and we had all these winter graduations for our kiddos.
Yep.
And
Springfield had one last night,
I think. They had to reschedule them all, or at least to some degree. Yeah. And some of them, I think ours went off. Yes, ours went off on the Saturday before the snow. And then I know that the ones in the week there were several that had to get rescheduled. And so you've got all that. I mean, I'm just thinking about Miss Grimes. We will get on your projects as soon as we get back. It'll be first priority. Because I'm thinking about all the teachers that got these, and that's just kind of an inside thing. But for Greenbrier, we have our Renaissance rally that we do. And Miss Grimes runs it and does a fabulous job. And she has tapped our audio video program to do some videos for her to help her with that. And, last week's when we were going to do them because she needs them, because it's coming up real quick. And I promise Miss Grimes, we're on it. Starting tomorrow, man. First priority. But, I think about all the teachers that have things like that they're like, it's about to happen. Well, they've got the coming home at Springfield this week. So here they've been without, they're no school now for 2 days, and they're having their, basketball homecoming coming home on Friday. So they're trying to get all their festivities in just 3 days instead of the week. And of course we've got all the educational things, but these extracurricular things mean a lot to these kids and to the teachers who work their tails off to put them together. So there's a lot going on. Get ready. It's going to be like a whirlwind when we get back to school on tomorrow.
Dr. Weeks he's been baptized since he got to Robson County.
Yes, he has.
Wow.
Baptized by fire with all this stuff.
I asked him last night, I said, you got any rear end left? Because of the schools being out and what all's going on. He's a veteran. I mean, he's been through the wars before.
Oh, yes. And all right, what else you got for us?
Well, we got into public hearing, planning and zoning. We didn't have but 4, but a couple of them didn't pass. People's going from Ag 2 to RP 80, which is RP 80 is close to 2 acres. Mm-hmm. It's not quite, but I don't know. It's one of them was like a water situation, and the water's there, but you're out in the country. We don't have big enough water lines to do fire hydrants, and of course, Robson County's not in the water business. It's not us to put a bigger water line in where some people's building some houses. Mm-hmm. We don't sell water. But it's still, I don't think you ought to look at the water situation as long as we require the water plants and districts to furnish a letter for every house that we rezone to show there's enough pressure in that area for that house. I mean, without a letter, they're not going to get a building permit.
Right.
So we need to look at that and And the other thing is the lot sizes, and a lot of people sold their road frontage, and then they're doing these little driveways back behind a house to sell another lot, and we're having problems with that too. Okay. People don't want to share driveways, which I'm not big on that, because eventually you're going to fall out. But you need, the easements need to be a little wider too. Yeah, where people can do that kind of thing. But it's some of our new commissioners, they just not for. We got some that don't want to use the 5-acre tracts and eat up farmland, and you got some these people that once they build a house, and then somebody buys a lot behind them, they don't want a house behind them.
Well,
I mean,
your land.
Hey, it's like telling the people what they're doing with their land, and we hear this all the time. We're looking for a county planner, and trust me, we're not the only county looking for planners. Mm-hmm. Folks that get out of high school now and college. If you're a planner, you can get a job tomorrow. They're scarce.
Okay.
And we're going to get a planner because as we grow with our growth program, right now we're starting again on another growth plan, but we're doing a county growth plan this time.
Okay.
We've done a county and city growth plan last time, and when you have a growth plan, if every city don't sign off on it, which we got 10 cities, then the state will not accept it. They won't acknowledge it. So we're going to do a county growth plan this time and let the cities tell us where their next infrastructure plan. If Springfield's fixing to come out in the county, then they will be included in this plan. We want to know what the growth's going to be in the county, and that's where we're looking at.
Well, let me ask you this. And as we look at some of the things in the county, this is something, if you're particular to Lawrence Lane, and I'll be asking Ryan about this tomorrow. Ryan Martin will be in here because they have the mayor and alderman meeting that got postponed from last week. So he'll be in here tomorrow. But there is a sign posted at the end of Lawrence Lane right at New Chapel about, and I know what's going on, but I'm just saying for those who see these postings and things like that, there's a sign that's talking about the construction that's going to be happening at the wastewater plant.
Yeah.
So how involved are you guys in that, or is that a complete city thing?
That's a complete city thing.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. We have some work with TDEC, which Brian's working with TDEC, I'm sure. And they're very slow, folks, very slow. If you try to build a house out in the county, you need a soil scientist from the state, you know what I'm talking about. There's only one that works our area, and he shares with another county too. So they're backed up, and even in slow times. But we do work with some of these DEMA systems out in the county, and of course, DEMA's.
What is a DEMA system? Why don't you explain?
That's people say, okay, that's a lagoon. No, it's not. It's every house got their own septic tank, and then there's these lines running to a holding pond, but they got to run through that line, through that septic tank, and through sand traps, and that water when it comes out in that holding pond, it's just as clear what comes out of your tap. Yeah. It's clear. It's not no lagoon.
Right.
And Williamson County, we've got some schools I think we've got 2 schools on the DEMA system now.
Really?
Yeah, Coopertown, middle school and elementary school, I think, was on it. And I went and looked at it years ago, and the water is just as blue as your vest.
Really?
Yes.
That's interesting. I've never
In fact,
one of them.
they was using that water, I think, to irrigate some property and stuff, and there's no smell or anything. That thing works. Yeah. Williamson County's got a bunch of them. These developers that's putting them in are putting these new subdivisions on these systems, and I think it's about $10,000 a house. Now, does that sound high? It doesn't to me. If you go build a septic tank around your house and field lines, you're probably looking at $5.
Right.
And then if you got to do a curtain drain, which anything around Cedar Hill has got to have a curtain drain. And that's what that is another system that where you drain off into the curtain around it, and that's probably going to be around 8 or 9. So if you can get hooked to the DEMA system 10, that's for the rest of your life you'll never have a problem.
That's interesting. I don't know a lot about that. I mean, you'd think since I live out next to the wastewater plant, I'd learn. But we're not hooked up on the we have
sewer.
Springfield water. Yeah.
But you're not hooked up to sewer.
We're too close. We're too close. They advised us when we built our house back in 90. Well, when we put our house together in 92, and I say put together because our original house was moved from the airport authority. And we bought it because we had to. Our deed would not allow us to have a construction trailer or anything. There was nothing we could live on, and so we found this house and moved it, and then basically completely redid it. We built like the lower section, and I mean it's really interesting how our house came together, and I love it. It's been perfect, but it was when we were building that, we talked to them at the plant, and they just advised us. They said, as close as you are, if we have a problem, it could be in your house. You know, I mean, and they were just very honest about it. And we're like, we think we'll just put in a septic system then.
Yeah.
And we have city water. But so do you have city water or do you have well?
No, I got city water.
Okay.
You know, I used to run Adams City water system, and we got good water out my way.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you know, you seen that town in Tennessee, they ain't had no water in 9 days.
God bless them. Man, that's horrifying.
And what it is, everybody, during the winter when people start busting pipes and leaving stuff dripping, if you're not pumping 24 hours a day, you can't keep up the demand.
Yeah.
And like Springfield, a lot of their water goes towards sewer. It takes a lot of water to make sewer work.
Yeah.
A lot of water.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's fascinating. And I mean, that's why you need a planner, right?
Yeah.
You need somebody that understands all the nuances of
Yeah,
that.
if anybody builds a house above the water tank, you're not going to have no pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless you can pump it up to that house.
See, because we're down in a hollow.
Yeah.
We have to regulate our pressure so it's not so high.
Yeah, Millersville, they've got some water problems because they're on White House Water District, and Millersville's in a hole. Greenbrier, which is hooked to White House, is way up higher, I mean lower than you would think than Millersville. So Millersville's going to have a water tank and some pumps to expand their city if they want to build more houses. And it's
fascinating.
Yeah, when you go to Smoky Mountains or whatever and see them houses up top of that mountain, and I've always wondered how to get the water up there.
I do too. I wonder as well. And my son, one of my sons is somewhat interested in building on our property, and I hope they do. So I have at least some grandbabies in Springfield eventually. But you know, they've talked about building up on the hill, but they'd have to get road. They would have to get some kind of road frontage to build a road because we don't have access to it. And all of the things when it comes to the utilities, and I'm like, dude, you could we could put another house easily on the land that's right next to us. And I said, that's what I would do, but I don't know what they're going to do.
Well, first thing,
I don't know if they're even going to do it.
Well, that's what going to zoning, you can, first thing you need to do is get the soil test. Right. A lot of people will build their house on the best ground they got for the septic tank. And that's not what you need to do because, you know, if you build it on the best ground for the septic tank and then the one you got goes out, then the next ground may not work. So, you know, it's part of it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All kinds of stuff. This is all fascinating because, you know, I grew up I'm a farm kid. I grew up on a farm. And so I understand, you know, we had a lagoon. When we had livestock, we maintained a lagoon. And it was very efficient and it worked wonderfully. But so I understand exactly what you're talking about. But when you start thinking about that in regards to county and city planning, I just if you've got a kid and they love that, what is that? There's some kind of game they play where they build cities. Oh, what is it called? I can't remember. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Once you get past Monopoly, I'm shot.
Yeah, but there is a game that they all play, and I cannot remember the name of it. But it is kind of that type of format where you're building cities and you know building buildings and all those things. And if you've got a kid that's really good at that, maybe steer them to planning because they might just really rock at that kind of a career. So very good.
It's the future. Yeah, it's the future. Somebody's got a plan, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get on top of this before it gets on top of us.
Right.
But what's going to get on top of us is probably building schools.
Yeah.
That's what's going to get on top of us.
Yeah.
You know, I'll go into that. I had a meeting 3 or 4 weeks ago with Danny Weeks and Miss Melanie Dickerson and them and Mr. Sars, and they give me a hint of what they're fixing to ask for.
Okay.
So it's probably coming around budget time.
Right.
I think we're in good enough shape to meet that demand that they're wanting to borrow to build on some schools. But after that, it's going to be. We lost some borrowing power of that last budget we made, and if somebody comes back the year after this year and says, "Hey, I need a school," financially, I don't think we can afford it. I really don't.
Do you think they'll ever put in a school out in a high school in the Coopertown area?
I don't know.
See, I've heard that a couple
Yeah.
of times, that we need a high school in Coopertown. I'm like, what? And I really, until I started teaching, I never really heard that.
Well,
but is that something that's kind of in the wind eventually?
I don't
to
think-
do a high school out there.
no, I would see them building onto either Joe Burns or Springfield or something, because to build a high school now is about $100 million.
Oh, wow.
And and a lot of it is the athletic facilities.
Oh, yeah.
And if you go build a new one, then you're going to start over with football field, baseball, softball, soccer, and just start completely over. And
And you got to have the land.
yeah, and buy the land.
Yeah.
Now, I see them maybe building onto a high school.
Okay.
Now, if we'd have built one central high school a long time ago, we might need to build another one somewhere else. But we got what? 1, 2, 3. We got about 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. When
Yeah.
I come from a county that got consolidated from their high schools. I grew up in West Kentucky near Mayfield, went to the little high school, Lowe's High School. And my brother was the first graduating class from Graves County High School, which is the county seat. Mayfield is the county seat of Graves County. And so he graduated from Graves County, but that was a thing when they closed down our schools and then consolidated into one. But we've got too much vested into our high schools to do that here.
Yeah, well,
I can't see that ever.
20 years ago, we had the Greenbrier, Springfield rivalry, White House, Portland, White House, Springfield, Joe Burns, East Robinson. But these people moving in now, they don't care about these rivalries.
Yeah.
That's old news to them. They don't know what they're about.
Sure.
Yeah, so you're probably, I noticed in Springfield, some of the schools we got in Springfield were built there where they're at because that's where they was needed. But now you got like West Side's kind of out of, Cheatham Park's right there, landlocked, Cheatham Park, and, Christ on them. Times have changed. Now the people are moving further out in the county, and the schools inside town are, it's hard to get in and out of town now.
Yeah.
So,
It's interesting. I mean, there's just some, I just, again, planning.
Planning.
We need good planning.
Yeah, planning.
Talking with Mayor Billy Vogle. He is our county mayor. If you're new to the program, this is 1100 WSGI, one street over. And we need to talk about one of our sponsors, our longtime sponsor, one of our original sponsors. Love them a lot. You know who I'm talking about, Barry and Rebecca Richards with the Exit Realty Garden Gate team. They know a lot about the things we're talking about because they are cross-planians, I like to call them. They've been 28 years in this county. They are working with the Exit Realty Garden Gate team. They came out of other careers and they were looking for something. Well, Rebecca will tell you that when she was in radiology of all things, about 18 years ago, she started looking into real estate. And the reason why she went with Exit Realty is because of all the benefits that they had and the fact that they're a big community and they mentor each other and they work together. And so here at, the start of a new year, you want to soar in 24, as Lee Marie likes to say. Maybe you're wanting something different career-wise. If you're looking into real estate, how about having a mentoring team like Exit Realty? You could reach out to Rebecca Richards. She is the agent. She's one of the agents up in White House. Her number is 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. You can reach out to Barry. He's the broker. Barry Richards is the broker here in Springfield on the downtown square. And you can reach out to him as well. You can connect with them just by, Googling Barry Richards, Exit Realty Garden Gate Team, Rebecca Richards, Exit Realty Garden Gate Team. You'll find unique web pages for both, all kinds of social media contacts. You can go to sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, buy, B-U-Y, RobertsonCounty.com. So many ways to connect with these folks because they specialize not just in helping you come into the real estate game if you're needing mentors, but boy, they specialize in Robertson County properties because they've been here so long. And they also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky. They bring their very diverse background and make them very unique no matter what your needs are. If you're saying, oh, okay, I need a building because I'm doing this, this, and this, odds are they've got some kind of experience with it or they know somebody that does, so they know exactly what you're talking about, and they're not just going to say, oh, yeah, I know exactly what you need and take you to a lot of properties that are just going to waste your time. You can go and look at their listings again online, connect with them online, and see how they've done historic properties from businesses to homes. Anything you need, guys, reach out to them today. Barry and Rebecca Richards with the Exit Realty Garden Gate Team. Sellwithbecky.com or buy, B-U-Y, RobertsonCounty.com. One more time, Rebecca's phone number, 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. Always let them know. U-turns. Mayor Billy Vogle. Got about 10 minutes, my friend.
Yeah, we had one more thing in zoning. We amended our building code resolution on houses about the two-family dwellings and having fire sprinkler systems. All we did was pass something on that the state passed to us.
Okay.
It's just automatic, and it's just, people really realize the state mandates and the federal mandates that are put on the county. Mm-hmm. And it's just part of doing business. Water flows downhill. Yeah. Part of it, we got to do what they say. And we had a pretty cool resolution last night. Governor Lee has been real big on getting broadband out in the rural areas. Well, there were some grants out there, and I read the template to it, and really there wasn't anything for Robeson County because Connect has really been doing a great job getting out there. They did it different. They went out to the rural areas of Robeson County and started coming in.
You bet. Mm-hmm.
And that's how it works. So really, we didn't meet anything. With no construction that met us. But Springfield, we had to vote that we was going to participate in the governor's plan. And then once the grants was out there, I called around, and Springfield was very interested. So they applied for a $100,000 grant, but it's for education. Teaching people how to use it. And last night we voted that once we get the money in from state, then we're going to write Springfield a check for the $100,000.
Well, and that'll be interesting. That'll be a question for Ryan tomorrow. Is the broadband service for Springfield, because while they do have some, they've got some very reputable companies, I suppose. This building, we have all kinds of internet issues here because they don't have access to Cumberland Connect, because you have to be a Cumberland Electric customer to have Cumberland Connect, and this is not their ad day, it's tomorrow, but my goodness, I cannot say enough about it, and having it in my home, and I know Mayor Vogle the same way, and so I wonder what the situation is for maybe bringing it through the utilities here in Springfield. I wonder if that's a plan. Do you think that? And again, that's a question for Ryan tomorrow.
That's a question for Ryan, yeah.
Yeah.
See, this is a pass-through state grant for the city of Springfield, a broadband-ready community, which that's what the county voted to be, and no matching funds are required. It's $100,000. I'm going to leave that here and give it to Ryan tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, I'll take a
give
look at
that to him.
And we'll talk to him. And see, and if you're on Lawrence Lane and you're wondering about that posting at the end of the road there at Lawrence Lane in New Chapel, guys, that's all about, they're getting ready to do the construction on the wastewater plant. And so it's kind of really formalities, I think. Just making sure everybody knows, hey, this construction is about to begin. What they're doing out there is going to be amazing. It is going to make it so much better. It's been awesome, but it's going to make it better. And so we'll talk to Ryan about that. But if you see those posting signs, guys, don't get freaked out about it. Just, inquire nicely. and we'll talk to him about that tomorrow. So go for it. What else?
Yeah. Be sure you call 811 before you dig. Yeah. We get them calls all the time. Y'all wouldn't believe the phone calls I get about different stuff. It's unreal. We had a resolution last night with schools is doing a balanced amendment, $332,000. And it's interesting. Here, contribution and gifts. It's on $365 is even listed in this resolution, so you know that every penny is accounted for. The state education funds, which used to be called BEP, now it's SSEP. Mm-hmm. That was $197, and ROTC reimbursement, $4,600, and insurance recovery. It just and then the school system took it and made 2 pages of how they're going to divide this money out. And they said, well, is this a one-time deal? Yes, some of it is, but some of it's recurring money. So this is just business. We call it housekeeping. That's what it is, but we have to see it and vote on it before it goes out. Right. Like here's the library's getting $5,000, and it's a medical insurance, $40,000. Just it's different things. Dental insurance for the teachers and stuff. It's just all part of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, transportation equipment, $129,000. That's probably for a school bus right there.
More than likely.
Yeah, more than likely.
Those things are expensive.
Yes, and they. What's the lifetime of a school bus?
I don't know.
Have you found out?
Mr. Heineman, I don't know if he's out there listening, but if you do, give us a note on what the replacement time is.
Yeah, I think there's only so many miles you can put on one.
Yeah.
And then, well, here we go. We got a resolution declaring surplus property from the highway department. Mm-hmm. And I was looking over this list, and trust me, this stuff is wore out. I mean, here's a pickup truck. It had 336,000 miles on it.
That's just broken in for me.
Yeah, Yeah. And,
I run them.
now, wait a minute. I'm wrong. Here's a 77 tractor. And, man, there's no telling how old what all it's been doing. When they get rid of it, it ain't much to it. It's done. A dirt machine had about 7,000 hours on it. Yeah.
Dirt machine, like a
Hey,
skid steer? Or?
I don't know. I just rotary boom mower. Yeah, it's 4x4 pickup. Okay.
So what happens with those? What happens with all that?
They put it on Tennessee.gov.
Okay.
Yeah, you can get on your computer and pull that up, and you'll see all the cities where they do their surplus equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a way to get some deals. I actually talked to a teacher who was needing some specific tables in her room, and she found them on that site and bought them out of her own pocket. That's what you guys have no idea what some of these teachers do. They're just amazing people. But this teacher in particular, she pulled it out of her pocket and got the table she needed for her classroom. God bless her. I mean, that's the kind of people I work with. I love teaching. Have I told y'all that? It is.
I think this
awesome.
spring we're gonna have spring cleaning up at the office building.
Okay.
The fourth floor ain't up just a bunch of old stuff like that, desk and
Oh my gosh, sorry about that, y'all.
desk
Thought I
and
had all that off.
filing cabinets and everything that's been passed up there over years.
Well, see, and that's the kind of thing that you can put over at the county office building, because they have got, or the county, the school board office building, because they have a big room where, as teachers, we can go in there. I needed a particular filing cabinet because you have to store. We give our kids safety tests every year, and we have to store those for 5 years. And so I needed a nice tall filing cabinet, and I put my name on it. The guys delivered it, and so that's a place where we can go and get things we need. But sometimes there's not exactly what you need, and this teacher found it on that sale page and went and bought it herself. So
Tennessee.gov. Before I close, we had to shut solid waste down one day last week, and the reason was the landfill was shut down.
Oh, okay.
And I cannot believe the landfill was shut down when they got dozers and stuff out there. But what it was, none of the help could get into the landfill.
Yeah, because of the
Well, it was in Nortonville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Way off the beaten path.
Right.
Way. And these people couldn't get to work. So the guy that loads our trash, he couldn't get the trailers unloaded. So we had to shut down.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean,
The snow for us is just, for those that are from the north, and my husband just kind of shakes his head, we do not have the equipment to move snow, and it is a different world. So you have to just wait until it melts, and it's crazy. But a quick note from Lee Marie. She says tonight is the placement test for Spanish class. So at 6 p.m. at the library, they have 3 levels of Spanish classes available. I love this. You can come in and take the test, and it will tell you where you need to be for the Spanish classes they're going to offer. So if and this is something I need to do because I go to Mexico every year and I speak absolutely no Spanish. This would be awesome if you're somebody that does, if you just want to be able to communicate with our friends that's their first language. And you know what? People who speak Spanish, they love practicing with you and helping you to learn a new language. So it will open up a whole new world for you. And I'm speaking to myself. I'm looking in the mirror. What a great opportunity tonight at the library. Go and take that placement test to see what your level is and which class you should plug into at the library. Just a wonderful opportunity. So go and check that out. I may go by the library today because I got some stuff I need to do.
I got to go today too.
Yeah. You got any other thing you need to
I
conclude
think
in
that
the
pretty well
show?
gets it. I don't know. I just want everybody to. I'm worried about our world, LaVern. I really am. Seems like nobody wants to get along anymore. What's the deal?
Yeah.
That's the reason to come to Robson County. Yeah.
Well, and I'll tell you, we talk a lot about, people say, what are you going to, what can I do? What can I do to make a difference? What you can do to make a difference is you can get involved in your community. And I talk about that, I talk a lot about going to Mexico every year. My friends Paul and Mary Rainey, he's on here every morning. Rainey, he goes with us. And we go down there, and this started because of the City of Children. The people who ran that said, what can we do so we're not having to take care of so many kids? What if we can make their communities better? And so they started this thing called Baja Missions that we're a part of, and they, from the inside out, make those communities better. So those kids are better taken care of. And so when I first got involved in that and I went down there, I was like, man, we need to do this in America. Well, that's what programs like Decisions Choice is an option. Absolutely. Open Door Pregnancy and Resource Center, the Isaiah House, My Father's House, all these programs, being a CASA, being all the different things you can do that get you involved in your community. When you do it from the inside out, that's how you change the world. So if you're worried about the world, like Mayor Vogle just said, get involved in your community in some way. Let this be the year that you go, what can I do to make a difference?
Yeah.
And there's the tutoring programs, raise your hand. We'll have a United Way in here on Thursday, and I'm sure they'll go through the litany of all the things that you can do to make a difference.
Yeah, opioid money that I got this past month.
The recovery court.
Yeah, we're doing, but I also was able to give some that didn't meet a template, and we gave Costa a check, and we gave and Isaiah House.
Oh, wonderful.
We gave them a check, and thank goodness the money's there, but it's a shame what we had to do with it, because we're having a bad problem. The kids is the ones getting left out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And there's so many programs, and I can't remember the full name of the one that's the, Tiffany's going to get me, but it's the one that talks about abuse. There's one I can't think of it. It's a committee that meets, and it's about overcoming.
Robson County Coalition, and I went to the last meeting. I bet you there was 25 people there.
That's an amazing
dealing with the
program.
court system. The schools is involved.
Yes.
And they're all coming up with a plan to fight this drug problem in the county.
That's just it. Yeah. And that's an amazing program. So I know she's been knocking on your door to get some funds for that one too.
They meet at the library.
Program.
They meet at the library, and I wasn't able to knock a dent out of her this last time we got some opioid money, but she will definitely be at the top of the list next time.
There you go, Tiff. I remember. But anyway, and as far as tomorrow, we got Ryan Martin coming in. They've got the mayor and alderman meeting tonight. It's being made up from last week, so Ryan Martin will be here. If you have some questions for Ryan, get them to me, and I'll share those with him. Got Macy Pentecost coming in. They've got an event at their church coming up this weekend, a community soup and supper they want to talk about. So she's going to come in 7 to 7:30 and talk about that. Looking forward. I just love talking to folks just in the community about that kind of stuff. So that's what we've got going on tomorrow. Working on getting Aaron Slate on next week, because typically he comes in on the fourth Wednesday, but I'm working on getting him in next week since Ryan had to take that slot tomorrow. But all the things, we're going to get back to normal, guys. The snow is melting. But get ready, because we're going to have more of it. It's only January, y'all. God bless. Have a great day. Enjoy your last day off, kiddos and teachers. Let's get back to school tomorrow. This is 1100 WSGI. God bless.